Hello, everybody, and welcome to Feel Good Friday. It is the 12th of February. And sorry, no, it is. It's the 12th of June. Oh, that was ridiculous. I don't know where that came from. I will be on my way home when you watch this from, or soon to be, on my way home from Gimli, just to turn around tomorrow on Saturday and go back up to Swan River for a service and conversation with them about what to do now that their priest has retired. But today, I want to just talk about Feel Good Friday. Last Sunday, I was at the combined Anglican Lutheran Church Redeemer St. George's in Brandon for a service of baptism and confirmation. One young lady who's a Lutheran was baptized and then was confirmed. And we had three other young people confirmed as well. And it turns out we had several people who were having their first communion. Three of the four confirmands, it was the first time they'd ever received communion. And there was one other young child, well, not young, he's about 10, 11 years old, was having his first communion as well. I didn't know that, or I would have made a big deal of it because it's important. And that reminded me of my own first communion. When I was 6 years old, the Anglican Church of Canada put out this book called We Celebrate the Eucharist. And it was a book that we worked through. Apparently, I was not six, I was seven. Because this says, on the 19th day of March, which I tried to write in the year of our Lord, 1978. And my priest, Ray Farrell, signed my book for me. But this was a book that we had the opportunity to work through as a group, and there were things about our lives and things like, here we go, this is our baptism. It's about belonging, and there's little Rachael Walker as a baby on my baptism day in my baptismal gown, and we got to talk about belonging to a family, and I got to do art. Never did become a great artist. Um, it's incredible looking back over this book to think, you know, this is God's family listening to His word. Apparently, this is people in the pew, and the priest had big hair. But there's this, the fact that we did this book, that we came together to learn about the Eucharist for our first communion together. And the fact that it was people who taught me. It wasn't my mom. It wasn't my dad who was like the Sunday school teacher. The people who taught me were older, like Sunday school teachers from church. But we had a big group because that year we were having there was I was six. Sorry, I wasn't seven yet. Um, we were having the bishop come. And so there were young people right up to age 13, 14 years old who had never had communion yet because at that time in the church, just before in the late 70s, we were only experimenting with the changing of the rules, being you had to be confirmed to have communion, and moving to baptism being the first, being the sort of the admittance factor to communion. Um, and so, because I was in a church, Trinity Church in St. Thomas, with Ray Farrell, our priest, who was part of I think he was part of what would be like the Doctrine and Worship Committee of the National Church. He was involved in all the new liturgies and the new things. So we were experimenting with the Third Canadian Rite, which would become eventually we would move from the Book of Common Prayer into the Book of Alternative Services, which is what we are using today. For the most part, lots of churches still use Book of Common Prayer. But he was sort of cutting edge, and we got to sort of be the guinea pigs. And so I feel so privileged that I was one of the guinea pigs who got to use this. We celebrate the Eucharist. Um, it was a good little book. It was engaging, and it meant I had to do the things with my mom and dad, but with all these other people. But we had, like, I think I was the youngest in the class at 6 years old and just about seven. And then, oh, there were kids up to 13, 14. Like kids, there were a couple of boys I had a crush on when I was in grade one. And they were in the older kids' Sunday school class. And they were being confirmed. So when the bishop came to our church service on the Sunday, I think we did this during Lent, and it might have been at Easter or thereabouts when the bishop came. He would have confirmed those older kids that were going through the confirmation classes as well as for First Communion. And there were just a few of us who received our First Communion. I remember practicing lining up, learning about how the nuns in near to us were the ones who made the bread. the wafers that we received, and we went at Christmas. Our whole first communion slash confirmation class went to a care home, to a nursing home, and we did Christmas caroling and handed out cookies. It was so much fun. I think that one thing we need to remember in the church is that in learning, in the teaching of what it is to be Christian, or learning about the doctrine and the things of church, they don't have to be stuffy. We have such incredible things like Jesus Christ himself. Like, how much more exciting can you get? We should be excited and exciting when we talk about these things, when we teach people about new things. So that's what I want to encourage you to do this weekend, is to think about how the church, or how your faith life, if you're not a churchgoer, how it can be exciting for you. What are the things that really just make you laugh and smile about it, or really challenge your brain? Sometimes we just need to do that. And so I will leave you with that. And I'll also leave you with the fact that sometimes my brain does need to get challenged. On Monday afternoon, I was fighting with paper clips in my office, especially paper clips that I just put in their little holder 10 minutes earlier, and hence were all typed together. I was sort of this image of, at night when the lights are off, the paper clips have a dance and they hook themselves together. So I Googled it, and apparently there is a real thing where micro vibrations actually link these things together. It seems quite miraculous, doesn't it? It's a thing. But the thing is, we should be excited about learning new things, whether it's paper clips or learning about Jesus and First Communion and things like that. I'll leave you here with let's see, what picture can I show you? Oh, here we are. Here are people who share their lives with me. This is my teachers and my son. I think this is my dog. And I think that's me, my sister, my mom, me, and my dog. Thank God I'm not a kid anymore. But, that experiment, that excitement with that book, the learning and the people I learned with, started me on the process to get me where I am today. And I've got the best job ever, and I love my life. So thanks be to God for Reverend Ray Farrell and all the lay people who helped teach me about my first communion. I hope that you have opportunities to have a good giggle about the first things you've learned about church that really make you smile. Have a great day. God bless you. And I will see you again on Sunday for Gospel on the Go, and Monday for Church at Home with Rachel.